No one is born alone. Long before your body began to grow into long limbs and fine threads of hair, your spirit was just a seed in the soil of the universe. Your name was just a marble in the throats of your ancestors, who walked on calloused feet to find you a home, who made pacts with wild beasts and shaped them into companions, protectors, transportation, nourishment, who learned how the earth creates life and livelihoods, and told their children and their children's children so they could turn the names on their tongues into babies swaddled in their arms. They were always waiting for you. And when you finally came, after so many long months of becoming, you cried so long and so loud that the whole world heard you. The cedars shook in the wind of your first breath, and alley cats and stray dogs crooned to the sky, the one you were born under, blue and gold and red and black and dotted with stars. As morning broke and you broke with it, roosters crowed to the glowing horizon, and sparrows chattered the news of your arrival, singing, "Rejoice! Love is upon us." You were small then, but you were not afraid and hardly helpless. You knew how to scream, how to make your demands known, how to ask for the care you knew you deserved. When strong arms held you firm against chests, you were love plain and pure, the love of your ancestors in the care they took to create what would become you, and the love of the earth, so many billions of years in the making, cradling you in this tiny corner of the universe. You grew because love nourished you. You grew because your body loved you enough to turn the greens from your garden into flesh and bone and brain. You grew because your spirit whined in need until you learned to listen, learned to nourish and groom it, learned that loving your body was loving yourself. Love came to you through open windows and doggy doors, in voices floating up to the fourth story, in hummingbirds with nectar dripping from their beaks and lizards sunning themselves on hot rocks. It was fed to you in plastic spoons, combed through your hair with gentle fingers, scribbled in the margins of notebooks, sang to you in broken notes until you finally chirped back. Slowly you learned to turn the sounds on your tongue into songs, sonatas to nourish the hearts who held you, and when you found yourself overflowing with sweet melodies, you sealed the excess in green glass bottles and sent them floating out to sea to find souls on other shores who might need a tune to hum. And because of the imperfect nature of the world, you learned the grief of love's absence. You trembled before the yawning abyss of lovelessness, shivered at the vacuum of its bitter wind, which sucked you dry of tears and sweat and saliva, and clawed at your parched skin, aching for a bite of bone. Some days you turned away just before its howling mouth, but others you tripped on its jagged incisors and fell stumbling into the putrid tar, where all you could do was lie paralyzed, waiting for the acid to dissolve you, praying that when the beast finally choked you out onto the asphalt, there would be enough of you left to salvage. Yet here you are, with pockmarks on your fingernails and uneven shoulder blades, but standing just the same. If you did not know, let me tell you how much love is in you. Let me tell you how much love is in the pools of your pupils, shrinking with the sun, blooming with the moon, finding light you didn't even know you could see. How much love is in the tips of your fingers, perfectly programmed for the delicacy or fervor of touch, in the mazes of your fingerprint and the canyons of your palm. How much love is in your bones, calcium to marrow, so that they can stand you strong on 2 feet, can mend themselves even in the catastrophe of fracture. How much love is in your joints, in the roll of your neck when the muscles are sore, in the way your arms stretch high above your head, and your knees bend and hips sway to allow you to dance, to jump, to express joy through every bodily motion. How much love is in the soft folds of your brain, the hardwiring and synapses you can barely conceptualize, sending signals like hot sparks through your body, allowing you to feel millions of microscopic emotions throughout every part of your psyche. Let me tell you now how much love exists outside of you, waiting patiently to be acknowledged. Let me tell you how much love is buried in the soil beneath your feet, where fungi feed on the broken hearts of beetles, where tiny seeds from great trees shiver in anticipation of what they will become, where roots tangle and stretch like neurons of some great brain, where generations of forests tell their stories. Let me tell you how much love is swirling in stars above your head, in universes you can barely comprehend, in the sun your eyes can barely bear to glance at, which tans your skin and nourishes your crops, and shines, burning onto a world that could not exist without it. Here is how to create love. Eat the fruit without cutting it. Let its sweet juice roll down your chin and revel in the sugar on your tongue, born from the love of the earth and the sun. Plunge your bare hands into the soil and do not be afraid of the dirt under your nails. You are at home here, just as your ancestors were at home when they began building the love that would become you. Make virgin skin calloused through the act of living. Dare to grasp and flail and tumble and scrape in the name of love. To be outrageous and unabashed, joyous and unbridled, to roll down every grassy hill and dance with every stranger, to feel everything. After all is said and done, kiss every scar goodnight, because they are proof that your body loves you enough to heal you, and that you love it enough to let it. When you feel the love inside you swell with high tide, set it free with your songs and your screams. Gift it to a friend in the form of a secret handshake, or scratch it into the scruff of a friendly stray. Know the difference between cherishing and hoarding, because love hoarded becomes stale and bitter, while love shared only multiplies. When you feel loveless, when your chest is empty and your hands are cold, remember the miracles that created you. The millions of years of evolution where chemicals wove webs and cells morphed and multiplied in endless succession over and over again as they created the prototypes of what would one day become you. Remember how generations of instinct and sheer grit kept your lineage alive, how those who came before you cared enough to nurture a world where you could be created, how tenderness and perseverance and plain old luck kept the possibility of you alive, nurturing the conditions for your creation until spring came to the valley and the sweet fruit bloomed on the tree, and finally, gasping, you arrived.